macarons. They're a little harder than the videos that I've done in the past. So yeah, let's get started with the video. Okay, to start off, we have 3 eggs right here, and before we're gonna crack them, you're gonna let them sit at room temperature for about 30 to 45 minutes. Mine have been sitting here for 30 minutes. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna separate the eggs and the yolks and the whites. The whites we're gonna use for the video, but the yolks you can do something else with them. So let's get cracking. Okay, so we have our egg whites in this bowl, and we're going to put that to the side for now, and we're going to start getting our dry ingredients. Okay, now we're going to whisk together our dry ingredients. So if you have a food processor, you can use that, but I don't have one right now, so I'm just using this this sifter. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get all our ingredients, and this is 1 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, and we're going to sift it in. Okay, so we have our egg whites, and we have this medium-sized bowl. So what we're going to do is we're going to whisk these egg whites until it becomes nice and fluffy. And then once we do that, we're going to start adding the sugar. So let's start mixing with the hand mixer. Are nice and frothy like this, we're gonna add in 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, and we're gonna do it in parts because if we do it all at once, it's gonna ruin this white texture. To know is once you've fully incorporated mixing your sugar and egg whites, a good way to check if you mixed it enough is doing this. And if it doesn't move, that means you're all good to go. Okay, so once our mixture is like this, we're gonna add in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we're gonna mix that in again. So once you have the vanilla in, you're going to have to add in food dye. So it doesn't really matter what color you want, but since this mixture is white, it's going to always turn a lighter color than the food dye is. So mine is red, it's probably going to turn into pink. So we're going to add in, don't add too much, only like 2 to 3 drops, because that adding a lot will make it like really dark, and you don't want that. transfer the mix into this piping bag. And you don't have to use a tip, but you can use a round tip if you want. But I'm not really going to use it. So you're going to put it, and you're going to pipe it some size like this, about 1 inch wide. And so we're going to start piping. So once you finish beating the macarons up and down, you're going to want to let it sit for about 30 minutes. And once it's been around 30 minutes, if you run your finger over it, it shouldn't dent and it shouldn't stick to your finger. And that's when you're going to start baking it. Okay, so now that our macaron cookies are done with, we're going to start making the cream. So to start off, we're going to have 2 sticks of room temperature butter. And your hands are going to get a little dirty, like this. So I'm going to come back and wash my hands really. Okay, so once your butter is in the bowl, we're going to start mixing it until it becomes nice and creamy. Okay, so the butter is nice and cream now. So now we're going to sift in. We're going to get our sifter. We're going to sift in 3 cups of powdered sugar. You can do a little less if you think that's going to be too sweet. So we've done that, so now I'm going to mix it in and then I'm going to add in the other half. Okay, so now I'm going to sift in the other half. So I'm just going to throw away those little lumps and then we're going to mix this other half. Okay, so now we're going to add in 3 to 4 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. So this is probably not going to be enough, so I'm going to add in a little more. I'm just going to check with 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream first. And we're going to mix that in, along with a splash of vanilla extract, or if you want to be exact, about 1 teaspoon. And let's start mixing again. Yeah, as I expected, it's getting together there, but it's not the texture I want, so I'm going to add in a little more. Okay, so I'm adding about 1 tablespoon more of heavy whipping cream. Don't add too much or it's going to get liquidy and they won't stick to the macarons. Okay, and let's start mixing again. Okay, great. So now this is the consistency I want it to be. Not too thick, okay, but nice and creamy. Okay, so then we're gonna put this in a piping bag and we're gonna start. Okay, so I finished putting this in the piping bag. I'm just gonna cut it right here. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Okay, so I'm gonna take these macarons and you wanna do only half of the actual macaron because when you press them together, it's gonna do the whole thing. Look after I finished piping them. We made all different sizes, like small ones right here. So they make about 30 different cookies. And yeah, so if you like the video, subscribe.